What's up? So, I recently found myself in need of a new VPN server. Decided to give Algol a try instead of my current OpenVPN, and I decided why not make a video on how to do a quick CentOS network install because some folks I've talked to have gotten a little tripped up on it just because of one step where you have to pick the mirror. It's not the most straightforward path that you have to set. So I figured I would just quick make a little nice, concise video. I'm sure there are plenty out there, but never hurts to have one that's recent and, you know, hopefully keep it under a few minutes. But I'm actually going to be using the new CentOS Stream. Maybe I'll make a whole video about that because that's pretty awesome. The folks at Red Hat making a rolling release CentOS distro that sits between Fedora and Red Hat, lets developers do more work, and also gives us a pretty stable um, given it's a rolling release, a pretty stable server ISO or desktop ISO if that's what you want, something a little more stable than Fedora. So the issue that a lot of people I've talked to comes from the installation source. So some reason the ISO always starts with a disconnected Ethernet adapter, so we're going to quick fix that. Got an IP address. We're going to do our partitioning. And with small disks, it's fine to just do the default. When you get a large disk, you might see that it will try to make the home partition the majority, or it'll try to use most of your space for the home partition. And when I'm doing a server, obviously I don't really want a big home partition. At least in my case, for my Nextcloud, for example, I didn't want a large partition. I wanted all of that to be the root partition because I wanted it to be used for my web server content because that's where Nextcloud stores it. I probably could have just made a separate partition for Nextcloud, but that's a whole debate, or that's a whole other discussion we don't need to have. So for the installation source, it says closest mirror, but it'll often not pick one. So what I do is, oh, come on. Cockpit, why are you failing me? Ugh, there we go. So I have a mirror I like to use. It's actually one I manage, so I trust it. You folks don't have to. You go ahead and replace this URL with whatever you want. The path will be more or less the same. You just need to know where the root CentOS directory is. And for most distros, that's fine. Ubuntu, you just have to specify the URL. But CentOS, and all the Red Hat distros, for whatever reason, they decided to do this a little differently. Beautiful installer, so we can't really criticize too much. So for CentOS 8, you would just put 8. For stream, you would put 8 stream. Then they actually changed it in stream, and I believe they also changed it in 8, just slightly. So instead, before you would enter the architecture and then or you would enter OS and then the architecture. Now they've changed it to base OS, architecture, I believe they have PowerPC, ARM 8, and x86 64-bit processors. Yep, PowerPC 64LE. Yeah, I looked that up on my other screen here. Then type OS. Don't ask me why they changed the path in this release. I'm sure they had their good reasons, but whatever. It's their organization. I mean, it's why we make how-tos, right? So we can skip and get through this. Click done, and now it'll pull down all your package metadata. We can do our software selection to pick a few different groups. For me, I just need something minimal. Guest agents, since I'm running this under KVM and QEMU. Standard CentOS, I don't know what's in there, so I'm not gonna grab that. Headless management, system tools, that's about all I need. And of course, for whether you want a workstation or you want a graphical interface, whatever suits you, go ahead and begin your installation. And from here, it's just your standard create your users, set your root password, and you're good to go. I mean, this installation should take almost no time at all. I'm not going to make my users in the video, but I mean, look at that, 300 some megabytes and then it's done. 500 packages. I mean, that's pretty minimal. I mean, you know, that's a pretty small footprint. I mean, if you can't afford a gig or something in this day and age, I mean, that's you're running on some pretty small drives. So, pretty great what they've done, and I really love. I've really gotten into Cent and Red Hat over the last year or two, and hopefully this video helps at least someone. And if you're wondering what I'm running here, this is Cockpit. It is a graphical front end for any Linux server. It comes by default on most Red Hat installs, just not enabled. And they've done really great work. If you want something to manage your servers very easily, it is a beautiful program. I'm running this on Ubuntu just because I ran into some goofs trying to run this on the latest version of Red Hat, but I recently found out both distros had the issue. I fixed it for Ubuntu, so I'll probably install a Red Hat distro on my next NUC because I want to add more to my little farm. But it's a really great program. Just a side note, I mean, you can get system info, you can check your logs, you can manage storage, you can manage networking. So I have a bridged adapter, so all my VMs will have IP addresses on my home network. You can have a Docker plugin. I don't really use it, but I've been meaning to. Obviously, virtual machines, account management, manage all your services. It's a really fantastic tool. I mean, yeah, you probably don't need to have GUI for your Linux server. I mean, that's definitely true, but it's really nice as a front end for QEMU and KVM, as well as, you get an in-browser terminal with pretty good copy paste. You can run your software updates. And the thing that really made me use it is I can add more machines here. I can drop SSH keys onto other servers and authenticate and just manage them all from one location. It's really nice, really slick. It's actually been pushed pretty hard, I think, by our friends at Red Hat. So take that however you want, but I really love it. And this video has gone on long enough, so I hope that my rambling doesn't upset anybody, and I hope this video helps even one person. It was worth it. So have a good one, everyone.